Folks, welcome back. Today we're going to have a good, uncomfortable finance and money discussion. And obviously I got to give the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have the fancy letters and licenses after my name, so take this all as entertainment. But this conversation has come up multiple times in me and Eli's live stream we have on Tuesdays on Pokemart USA. It's come up in the Discord, and everyone's got an opinion. I feel like a lot of it gets kind of convoluted with, lives and chats and Discords. So I wanted to make a video about it because I think it can be helpful for a lot of people who may not have a lot of personal finance experience, and there's still a lot of questions, and they're still trying to find their footing with all this, making money and investing and flipping and what they should buy themselves, what they shouldn't type stuff. And so I just wanted to give my take, and one of the main discussions always revolves around Dave Ramsey. If you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, huge talk show host, huge radio host. His big claim to fame is, it's all about getting out of debt and living debt-free and paying for everything with cash, not using credit, not using leverage. And so obviously the internet these days, he gets a lot of heat, and some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. And so let's talk about it for a second. All right, so if you don't know what Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps are, these are built to get you out of debt and, basically end up retiring comfortably. And how it starts out is, if you ever saved money before, it's to save $1,000. I'm sure most people have, but if you haven't before, sometimes it's hard for people to get $1,000 in their bank account and not spend it. So save $1,000. And then it is, pay off your debt smallest to largest, whereas, the finance experts, they're going to get their financial calculators out and go beep, 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 boop, boop. Nope, you should pay off your highest interest rate to your lowest interest rate. And they're right. However, what Dave usually says, and which I kind of agree with, is if that first debt with the lowest interest or highest interest rate is a gigantic debt and it's going to take forever to pay that off, what will happen is human behavior. A lot of people will start and they'll give up because it's taken too long and they're not seeing any progress, and they're just not mentally strong enough. So even though it makes the most sense, it may not be the most effective or successful with most people. Whereas paying off the smallest to largest debts, once you start paying off one and the other, and you feel that snowball effect, you feel like you're getting somewhere, those people actually end up making it the whole way and paying off their debts, and they're actually more successful, even though it doesn't make as much financial sense. So I see both ways there. If you're a super strong personality and you can stick to something, then yeah, paying your highest interest rate debt first, that obviously does make the most sense if you're going to stick to it. Then, this is consumer debt, guys. This isn't talking about house right now. It's consumer debt, credit cards, things like that, right? Things that have, interest that you literally aren't seeing a return from. After that, it's invest in retirement. 15%, he says, into retirement accounts, whether that be S&P index funds or mutual funds, whatever it may be, into a retirement tax-advantaged account. Good. After that, if you have kids, you want to save for their college education, he recommends that as number 5. If you don't, you can skip that. And then number 6 is going to be pay off your house. We'll come back to that. Number 7 is basically you're there, live like no one else, give and build wealth and things like that. But pay off your house. That's a huge subject of discussion because, again, the same finance people are going to get their calculators and go boop, boop, boop. Alex, you should not pay off your house. You should put the money basically anywhere else is going to earn you more interest. Here's the thing, guys. It's true. Again, it's true. There's a lot of places you can actually make more on your money if everything continues to go the way it was, even with Pokemon, and you'll make more investing your money than paying off your house sooner. The one thing I always challenge people with, and there's no answer for it because everyone is going to have a different answer for them, right? And this is where it comes into play. No matter how smart anyone is and how long life goes on this planet, you will never be able to quantify 2 things: risk or peace of mind. You can never quantify those. You never understand what risk and peace of mind means to each individual person and what's worth it for them and what isn't worth it to them. Not everything can be solved with a financial calculator, and also not all risk can even be quantified of knowing you can do the numbers and know what people think the odds of things happening are, but there's no real way of knowing. And so when you have debt, you always have a risk. And that's one of the biggest things that Dave always touches on. And so that's what he believes is, no debt, no risk, peace of mind. And then you can build wealth and you can, retire comfortably. And it's kind of the roadmap of, any basic person with a basic job to be able to retire in this country. Now, when we talk about leverage, that's ways to kind of jump ahead of the line. That's ways to get there faster, not have to work your whole life away, right? And leverage can be your best friend or your worst freaking enemy. Because people, like when the real estate crashed in '08, a lot of the people that were multimillionaires making all kinds of money living on yachts, they found out real quick it was their worst enemy. A lot of those people lost everything and went bankrupt. And then, times have been good. So a lot of people have been using leverage now. In the past, 10, 15 years, they've done very well. They built huge real estate portfolios. Then maybe they built big stack portfolios, big Pokemon, whatever it may be. And they've done very well. There's no telling when or if that will ever end. And there's no telling how much leverage to ever use based on each person's circumstance. It's all based on your risk tolerance. But you have to understand there's always going to be risk involved. And if you're okay with the risk, it doesn't affect your mentality. It doesn't affect your day-to-day life, your peace of mind, how happy you are, and you're 100% healthy with it. And if it does not go your way, you're okay. Hey, I get it. It makes sense. Me personally, if you're asking me, I don't like it. I don't like to use really any leverage. The most leverage I use these days is, taking out a 0% interest credit card and making some purchases on it and then paying it all off and never paying interest. But I don't like even paying any interest. Even if you could say, well, Alex, if I gave you $1 billion at 1%, you could go invest it here, 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 and here, and you'd make more than that 1%, and you'd be all right. It's like, yep, if everything turns out right. What if I put that in the market or put that somewhere and all of a sudden everything crashes the next day and now I'm out all this money, I can't pay it back, and I gotta file bankruptcy and start all over. And so it all depends on what you're looking for, but don't let people, this is where it comes into play, the discourse and the comment sections, don't let people tell you stories of their successes like it's the rule, right? Like, well, I took leverage and I did X, Y, and Z and now I'm where I'm at. And so, see, it worked. Yeah, it did. And those people should be congratulated. That's what this country's all about. When you take risk and it pays off, you get to reap the rewards. When you take risk and it doesn't pay off, you get to reap that too. And so that's really what it comes down to. But the other side of this too, when people say they can afford things, right? Not all, but what most everyone means when they say that is they can afford the payments on things as long as they hold the same job or a similar job to the one they have, and they make the same money or similar or more money to what they're making. Everything's peachy. They lose that job and can't find a similar job making a similar amount of money in a good amount of time. What happens? Well, you might start getting some foreclosures, some repos. Your life's not going to look too good. Also, let's say you're in a super safe job and your job, let's say it's 100% going to be there. You're never going to lose it for the next 40, 50 years. The other thing you're doing is sacrificing your freedom. So me, myself, I'm in a unique situation. I'm one of those people who have taken time off before. A lot of people have never done it, so they don't even know what it's like, right? You hear the stuff that people talk about. Even Dave Ramsey talks about it. Oh, I would never just completely retire and do nothing, especially if you're young. What happens to those people is they get fat and lazy and they usually die, or they're depressed and it sucks and you don't want to do that. Nuh-uh. Wrong. After I sold my first lawn care and landscaping company, I took a year off, and that was still one of the best years of my life. I didn't have any responsibilities. I had no schedules, didn't wake up to an alarm, none of that for an entire year straight. And the way people's schedules are nowadays, it almost seems like everyone's got time to do something sometime. These people work nights, these people work mornings, these people work during the week, these people work weekends. And it seemed like there was a lot of the time I had friends to hang out with. Spent a lot of time at the golf course. When it was rainy or crappy out, or I just didn't feel like doing anything, I would watch movies and play video games. Always had time to keep myself in shape. I didn't get fat and lazy. I went to the gym every day. Was always able to cook my own meals and cook me and my wife food, and just had abundance of time to just enjoy life, live on your own terms. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And now I know that when I get to the point of retirement, I know it's going to be great. I know having that much free time is awesome. Whereas a lot of people will say, oh, that would suck. I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't have anything to do. I have to work. And it's great. That's what I'm saying. There's no right answer for each person. So a lot of people love work, and they want to work even if they don't have to, and they have enough money or whatever it may be. They would rather work than get other hobbies or spend their time doing other things, or it makes them feel productive, or it makes them feel it helps their self-worth, whatever it may be, and they want to work. But you shouldn't look down on people that don't want to work. Now look, if they don't want to work and they're trying to live off welfare, or they're trying to freeload off people, yeah, I get it, that's wrong. But if, like the FIRE movement, the financial independence, retire early, the people who do, grind when they're in their 20s and 30s, maybe 40s, and they want to retire in their 40s or even early 50s, and they just want to live life on their own terms, and they've built up enough money to be able to do that, don't hate on those people. People who can afford to take a year off work and do what they want and travel, don't hate those people. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And too much in this country and a lot of countries now, people want you to fall in this trap of you got to constantly build your career, constantly build your income, constantly build your net worth, constantly get a bigger house and a better car, constantly get better status and a bigger promotion at work. And what happens is you get nicer cars, you dress in fancier clothes, you get a bigger house, but you got the same size coffin as everybody else. And no one knows when that day is going to come. And so the best thing to do is enjoy the time that you have doing the things you want. Maybe for you that is working and growing your business or working wherever you work. Maybe for you, you want to spend more of that time with your family and your friends or doing the hobbies, doing the things you enjoy. And there's no right answer for this. And to make anyone feel like lesser than because they have a different view, it's wrong, right? Because there is no right answer in life. There's no right answer to the best way to spend each one of your days or the right amount of money or status that you should have, or all that's BS, right? And so that's really where all this money and finance conversation comes down to. The trick is, it's kind of like the Gary V message he's been kind of preaching lately, Gary Vaynerchuk, it's not about always progressing in money throughout your life, right? It's progressing in happiness. And so what my advice always is find the amount of money that you need to be able to live the life that you want, right? There's a lot of people that make $1 million a year and they're miserable. And there's a lot of people that make $1 million a year and they're in their 50s and they still have nothing saved and they blow all their money and they've had a crazy life. They've been through 2 and 3 divorces. They've owned yachts and jets and take crazy vacations and owned Ferraris and Lambos, and they just have nothing saved because they blew it their whole lives, right? There's other people who never make more than 50, 60, 70 grand, but they live within their means. They consistently invest. They paid off their house and they did that for 40 years, 50 years, and now they retire and they're comfortable and they enjoy their lives and they never made anywhere near the amount of money other people have made. And so the trick is finding what you enjoy, finding a lifestyle that you actually enjoy to live, figure out how much money it takes to live that lifestyle, while also, being able to invest for the long term so you don't have to work and being able to afford all your medical, all that stuff, right? And try to make that amount of money, right? Don't try to just aspire to some, fantasy amount of money. Oh, more money, right? 80 grand, 100 grand, 120 grand, 200 grand. Like fantasizing to keep getting these higher numbers where it's like, do you even need that amount of money to live your life? Or are you just trying to make more and then you can get to a point where you don't have to work quicker? Like, what's your goal? And having that goal in mind, having that kind of, that life in mind, that will keep you more on track to being happier in life and not being miserable, but still making great money and having all the nice things that everyone looks at and says ooh, ah, right? I mean, I've got a friend. He's actually the friend I sold my lawn company to. He took it a different direction. He doesn't work as hard as I did. He maybe keeps about 50 to 60 lawns, works about 3 days a week. His wife has a job, and they're perfectly comfortable. They make more than enough money than they need. They both don't work crazy hard or tons of hours, and they enjoy their freaking lives, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's other people out there and that, both husband and wife, they're both high-powered executives, or they run their own company, they make tons of money, and they completely enjoy that. And they enjoy spending time on their yachts, and they enjoy being able to fly private, and they enjoy, driving nice cars, and they enjoy that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The issue is when these people start having a problem with how these people live, and these people are mad at these people for what they have. It's like, no, not all that's BS, guys. Enjoy your life. In the end of the day, as much as you think when you drive up to that stoplight and people care about what kind of car you're in, they may ooh-ah for a second, or you care about when people come to your house and they say, oh, it's such a nice house, wish we had this, and then they go home. Guys, no one really cares about what anyone else is doing, especially these days with how crazy people's attention spans short are on social media. No one cares what everyone else has or what everyone else did or their titles. Like, yeah, it's cool to say, oh man, Elon Musk. Or, yeah, it's cool. But at the end of the day, what's most important, as most of you know, is being able to enjoy your life with the people that mean the most, doing the things that you all enjoy together. That's always going to mean more than everything else. So as long as you keep that in mind and you come up with a lifestyle that you want to live, you come up with a financial plan that makes sense to you, that gives you peace of mind, that's in your risk profile, I think you're going to be okay, especially when it comes to Pokemon and outside of that. So, guys, let me know if this discussion helped you at all. I've been wanting to have it for a while, and I felt today was a good time to kind of slow down and talk about it and kind of take a break from the Pokemon stuff. And yeah, I hope it did. That's all I got. My name's Alex. This is Nostalgianomics. If you like what you hear here, make sure to show up, hit and subscribe, and come back. I'm out.